In his later years, Dad would often say he was the luckiest guy in the world. His friends and colleagues, many of whom are here tonight, would say they were the lucky ones to get to know him. When he'd talk about how lucky he was, what went through my mind was a saying from another Hall of Famer here, Carl Linder, who used to say, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." And Dad worked very hard.
He had started and was hired by Clark Equipment Company in the industrial truck world. Battle Creek, Michigan was the home office of the industrial trucks for Clark Equipment, and I was employed there. So when Bill joined Clark Equipment, he came to Battle Creek from Cincinnati to spend his first day with the company, and I was his host to take him around the factory and see what we do and meet the people. And that was a memorable experience because he asked more questions than anybody I'd ever met in my life about what was going on and why, and I only knew half of the answers, and I was supposed to be the host with all the answers, but he made a memorable impression.
He was a quintessential entrepreneur. He was driven to create something of value. Part of it was to be successful financially, and a lot of it was to create opportunity for the folks who worked at Portman Equipment Company. But I think a lot of it was just that obligation that great entrepreneurs feel to build something enduring and to do it the right way, through hard work and integrity.
It's not often one has a loving father, a great boss, a wonderful friend, a co-pilot, and a partner in the field for hunting and fishing, all in one person. And I had that in my dad, Bill Portman.
I used to run the Chamber of Commerce. I did it for 16 years and got to know Bill Portman both in that capacity. Also got to know him as a member of the board of directors of the Portman Equipment Company, and as a citizen of the community and interacting with him in the community. And then as importantly, and sometimes more importantly, as a friend.
He touched people in amazing ways. By example, he passed these values, hard work, integrity, ethics, to hundreds of team members, customers, even competitors, and certainly to his family. Dad grew up as an only child in Pleasant Ridge. His dad was a salesman. They never had the means to buy a house, but they rented a few different homes in the neighborhood that Dad always enjoyed showing us on Sunday tours. He went to Pleasant Ridge Elementary and Pleasant Ridge Presbyterian Church, was an Eagle Scout, and got into Walnut Hills High School, which gave him academic opportunities he said he always appreciated. He had a paper route, pumped gas, and worked as a caddy to earn money in his teens. Eventually he saved enough of that money, $25, to buy his first car and his pride and joy, a 1917 Model T. Maybe his biggest challenge in life came at age 16 when he contracted polio. My grandmother used to tell me they didn't think he was going to make it. It left him bedridden for nearly a year and put him a year behind in high school at Walnut Hills, keeping him from playing sports, something he said he always regretted. And I think it changed him in fundamental ways. He was determined to bounce back from that, and for the rest of his life, he talked about his polio as a time when he realized that life is fragile, and he was going to make the most of it. And he certainly did.
What made Dad unique to me was his intense focus on people. And back in the 1960s, before customer service was powerful, before total quality was powerful, before profit sharing became known, he created all that in our company. And when I say he has an intense focus on people, what I mean is that he really listened to people. He wanted people to be successful. And he wanted great people to be successful. He wanted to hire the best people, give them opportunities, and let them go.
On family camping trips, we used equipment from his service in World War II. His tools and his cars were maintained and immaculate, and he used every last millimeter of Crest toothpaste. He never let a beautiful day go by without noticing it. He loved life and its possibilities. He revered the natural world. He taught us to be stewards of the earth and to walk gently, to leave the campsite cleaner than we found it, and to cherish the outdoors. He camped on his honeymoon and spent his most enjoyable vacations in the wilderness. By example, Dad taught us that being in nature was both a spiritual and recreational key to life. Dad embraced diversity at home, though we shared common values, and our family consisted of 5 distinct personalities. He was tolerant, not judgmental, and encouraged our individual growth and explorations. We could always count on his being interested in our journeys and to nudge us towards independence.
He applied himself at Walnut Hills, did well academically, was accepted at Dartmouth College. As a college student, World War II broke out. And like so many Americans, he volunteered to serve his country, obtaining the rank of first lieutenant in the infantry, just like his dad had done in World War I. He loved the training, responsibility, and leadership skills he learned in the Army. And it made him a more focused and successful student when he returned to Dartmouth and the Tuck Business School. He landed his first job after school at Procter & Gamble Company. And although he only lasted there a couple years, he always attributed his later success in business to the management training at Procter, a company whose customer-driven culture he revered. He married the love of his life, my mom, Joanne, in 1952. As we were growing up, Dad was busy, really busy, especially after 1960 when he struck out on his own. But we always had the sense that family was first. In 1960, he left his job as a salesman, where he had some security, including health care, a retirement plan, and a commission, and he risked it all to start his own company, Portman Equipment.
Bill Portman, in a way, was like William Cooper Proctor, who recognized that employees shouldn't have to work all day Saturday, and who created profit sharing for the Procter & Gamble Company, things that had never been dreamed of in those industrial days. Bill Portman, some 40 years later, did some of that same focus on the needs and importance of his employees so that he could satisfy the needs and desires of his customers. And it was that focus, that caring focus, that I think set him apart from many, many others.
Bill Portman was just a very special man. He was a successful businessman of integrity. He loved his home, he loved his family, he loved the community. And I was privileged to be able to call him friend. I think I probably met him when we were both on the Chamber of Commerce board, and then we were both great living Cincinnatians, so we have a little bit in common. But I am pleased and honored to be asked to say something good about Bill. It's not hard.
Thanks to Dad's patience in the business, we transferred from a first to second generation business, I think relatively easily, mostly because of his patience and the fact that he never looked at me and said, "Wim, that's a dumb idea." Dad had a way of working with people and of communicating with people in such a respectful way.
I'm deeply honored to be part of this tribute to Bill Portman. He was a gentleman with drive and commitment, as well as a savvy businessman who never compromised his honesty or integrity, not in his business dealings or in his personal life. I consider U.S. Bank very fortunate that Bill was a member of our corporate board of directors from 1985 through 1996, and of our local board of directors several years before that.
I still try to live up to his standards every day as I ask, what would Dad do in this situation? On behalf of my sister, Jenna, my brother, Wim, and our families, thank you for the opportunity to celebrate Dad's life.